Good afternoon. My name is Richard Ung. I'm the owner and operator of Puzzles Cafe and Waffles. A little bit about me. I was a Marine Corps veteran. I retired due to a combat injury and found out that I wanted to do something with my life, but really didn't know what. So I started to job hunt, enrolled for about 300 different jobs, and found out that there was not a lot of opportunities for an infantry machine gunner in the civilian world. So it led me to go back to school. Found a passion in neuroscience, and I am a neuroscience major at ECU. Go Pirates! And I found out that there was a very big passion for me for coffee, and that's when I decided I wanted to open up my own business called Puzzles Cafe and Waffle. Our business model is to serve the community with fine coffee along with a high-quality breakfast and allow people in the community to come together and share a good meal. One of the big problems is that there's an increasing demand for breakfast establishment in this location. Me and my family would go out on a Monday or a Friday or Saturday and find out that we have to wait 45 minutes for breakfast at IHOPs or Denny's, and there was always a long line. So there's a big demand for breakfast establishment in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Along with full-service commissary kitchens, we have a lot of friends that own food trucks and are having a problem getting their business established in Onslow County because they don't have a brick and mortar. With the building that we purchased, we have a 40-foot line kitchen where we can host commissary kitchens to allow people to be able to get their health certifications and be able to establish their business in the local community. Our solution is to provide premium coffee at an affordable rate, along with offer eggs, bacon, and waffle, a very special limited menu that we can do well and offer it at an affordable price because we won't have a high overhead for a lot of different products on hand. And along with having a fully equipped kitchen, we'll be able to offer that and open the doors during non-business hours for us for these food trucks and other small businesses to come in and cook their products and be able to serve it in the community. Our products will be a premium roasted coffee that we'll be getting from a veteran business called Jarhead Javas, and we'll be able to stimulate the veteran economy along with provide a very good, robust roast. The other thing with the breakfast, eggs, bacon, and waffles, with offering a limited menu, we'll be specializing in those small, unique items such as eggs, bacon, sausage, and waffles. Though our menu won't be that big, we'll be able to produce a very replicable item that we can remain consistent throughout our product, along with offer macchiatos, lattes, and coffees that you wouldn't normally get from a breakfast establishment. The other things that we'll be able to do, because we purchased the business outright, we'll be able to offer an affordable commissary kitchen at a decent price, and along with our 6,000 square foot commercial space, we'll be able to offer event space as well for people to be able to host weddings, events and parties that are hard to find locations for in our community. Our target market would be military because we are right in front of the Wilson Gate, so you can come and get your coffee right before you jump on base and be 1 minute out from jumping onto the base. The other thing with being located on Lejeune Boulevard, we're located 1 block away from the Bell Fork Elementary School, and the teachers can come and get their coffee right before work, along with parents that are waiting in a drop-off line. Because during the high traffic time, people who are picking up or dropping off their kids, they're lined up right behind our business. The other things for the commissary kitchen side, we have food truck owners and people who want to try to start their own small business cooking and getting their product out there that don't want to invest in the business or all the equipment outright in the beginning. Our competitors would be large breakfast establishments that serve these breakfasts and stuff as well. The main difference with us is that because of our lower overhead and not being a franchisee, we'd have very little overhead, along with being able to establish a better rapport and offer quality coffee roasts, because you don't really hear people going, say, hey, I went to Waffle House, that was the best coffee I ever had. With us, we may not have as big of a menu, but we will be able to offer very premium roasts, such as Jamaican Blue Mountain and different coffee roasts from different parts of the world that will be able to cover a multitude of palates. The other thing is local coffee shops. Most of the coffee shops that we go to, they serve very limited items such as a breakfast sandwich or a bagel. With us, you'd be able to sit down, get a waffle, get bacon, get eggs, and have a legitimate full breakfast, along with having that coffee experience that you would get from a local coffee shop. And with other big franchise coffee shops, we'll be able to offer a quality roast of similar quality, but offer at a lower price, because we'd be getting it directly from our suppliers, along with not having to pay any kind of franchise expenses, such as paying for the logo, the name, and everything else. For our funding needs, because we were putting a lot into reestablishing the business and paying outright with all of our equipment, the only real funding need that we require right now is the working capital. And we've kind of already made a solution for that with using business cards and building credit for the business, along with working with our different suppliers to purchase the items that we would be selling, and then as the months go by, pay it back as well. So there is a kind of bit of leeway there. Our selling channels, because we would be a brick and mortar establishment, most of our sales would be directly from our business, but we will also have a POS system where people can order beforehand and use an app through our POS system. Our marketing activities, we'll be using social media along with the high foot traffic in front of our establishment. We're going to be posting up signs and using social media to be able to spread our name out there. There's also, we're partnering up with the Chamber of Commerce to do a ribbon cutting, and also with other different local organizations such as Semper Fi Fund, and doing a breakfast fundraiser and trying to get our name out there. Our financial projection, we're using Statista and using our NICS code to figure out how much business is being averaged out in the local area for a limited service restaurant. We found it to be about $400K a year. And with us being a new establishment and we're not being established in the community, we figured it would be safe to say about 30% of the proceeds would probably be the target market we would be hoping to produce. With our expense of $400K, the first year we could see it as a loss, but with that being said, we were able to use my retirement and our savings to be able to pay for the building along with the equipment, so that the next year all we would have to do would pay for the supplies we would need, and everything else would be pure profit. Second year, we would expect to see a 30% increase and the expenses decrease because of the equipment already being there. After year 3, according to Statista, you see the average growth would be another 30%, and that is when we feel like we would have a bit better rapport and establish with the customers, and we'd be able to hit our target market and be able to be well out of red and into the black by year 3. Many of the major milestones, we have already started our renovations and are meeting early our checkpoints, and have already started to work with the health department and the fire code to be able to get up and running. We are still hoping to be able to have our grand opening August 15th, and it looks like we are well on our way to do so. And in October, after we were established, we wanted to make sure that we were not biting off more than we can chew. We'll be able to start our roasting operation. Our key role and resources, there is me as the owner, my wife as the operational advisor. James Daniel was a master gunnery sergeant for the Marine Corps and did 32 years in the supply chain that will be handling our logistic operation. Amanda Daniels was the family readiness officer for Wounded Warriors Battalion and is a wizard at marketing advertisement and will be able to complete our whole package and our roles. Some of our partners are...
Let's go to
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Good job, Rick.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Simplify.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, as a Marine, were you ever stationed on the West Coast?
I was.
So you're familiar with In-N-Out?
I am familiar with In-N-Out.
You're very familiar with their simple menu.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't ever let that deter. I love your simple menu because you are basically a coffee shop, right?
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
going to be offering premium coffee, which is not here, but you're adding like frosting on top of the cake by being able to offer a breakfast with that. And I think you're going somewhere good with just keeping your menu simple. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So my question for you, obviously, I can see you may have already answered this question, but I can see you've done some good market research. And during that market research, what was the aha moment for you that made you say, there is a need for my type of business here in Onslow County?
It happened a few years back when me and my wife would go out to IHOPs, and it was just every Sunday and every Friday we'd come back from church and find out that, hey, we want breakfast food. And we'd wait in line for 45 minutes to an hour saying, why is there not any more breakfast joints? Because there's definitely a need when there's an hour and a half wait to get into IHOP. Then after we had the bill, 2 people eating, and it was $50, I said, breakfast should be cheaper than that. I pay for a dozen eggs for 98 cents. And my wife, she has a very open heart and wants to feed everybody. And she came up with the idea of a breakfast charcuterie board. And that would be 8 waffles with 10 slices of bacon and 10 eggs, enough food to feed a family that comes out on a board for $20. And I did the market research and did everything else and found out that I could supply that for about $13 and would still be able to make $7 on that while offering people $5 a plate as long as I did that in bulk with a breakfast charcuterie.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I have so many questions.
I know.
Rick, thank you for your presentation. Very nice. You said you're located right out on Lejeune Boulevard near Wilson Gate. Can you I'm trying to figure out what that building is that you've purchased.
The old Regazi building.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So it is so easy to jump there and then jump right back on Bell Fork.
All right, thank you. That solved that mystery for me. So what have you invested so far in the business?
We are about $175,000 into the building as of yet, and we had just paid $16,000 into plumbing, and about to finish out $11,000 for the flooring for the dining area. But because of my wife being working, she was the club supervisor at Sam's Club, and we were able to make some very smart financial decisions. We were able to pay cash for the building and got it for a steal. They originally wanted, I think, $250,000 and dropped it to $185,000, and we only had $125,000 in our savings. So we went up to them and said, hey, would you take $125,000 cash? They said no, and 3 months later contacted me back and said, if you want the building, it's yours if you can close in 7 days. So we were able to take everything out of savings and buy the building. But the good part about buying the building, now we're establishing the commercial property line. Mm-hmm. And now if we ever needed or came into a position where we needed funds, we can pull out a C-lock and pull out the equity of the building so that we wouldn't be able to have to pull out high interest credit cards
That's
and
a C
rent from
lock, not a
ourselves.
HELOC.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Just kidding. I'm messing with
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
but-
We were told HELOCs was home equity line of
Yes,
credit,
it
and a
is.
CLOC was commercial
Yeah.
equity
Just
line of
making a
credit.
little Marine Federal joke.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you've got quite a bit invested. That's fabulous. How much debt are you in?
At the moment, we are currently zero in debt right
Okay,
now.
so you've used your credit cards, but to do some stuff, but you're okay there.
We don't use our credit cards.
Okay, I misunderstood.
He used his savings. Everything he saved.
The $10,000 for working capital.
That's what he's
Okay.
asking.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. That would be if we were in a situation where we needed more working capital, we would be able to pull on the business credit line to be able to establish credit for the business through our local suppliers.
All right, so, okay, let me get to another really important question. So the location that you've purchased, and, I want to be really optimistic. I really like your concept a lot. That location has suffered a lot. What are you going to do to ensure that you overcome the challenges with that location? I mean, when Ragazzi's was the restaurant in there, they had a great restaurant and a good following. I know the building has had a lot of deterioration and such, but I just wonder what you're going to do to overcome that, thing of restaurant after restaurant or, business after business going in there and it not making it. And so we want to see you make it.
Yes.
I'm sure you're thinking about that.
Yes, ma'am. So when that bypass was built, it really killed all those businesses on Lejeune. And we were hesitant at first to buy that property, and we sat on it for about 2.5 years. And a little angel popped up out there, Little Jamaica. Little Jamaica opened up in the building right in front of ours, and we thought that building was not going to thrive. And they are packed and have a lot of foot traffic, and they are thriving. And we've been able to become friends with the owners, and they said they got people waiting about 30 minutes for their food because there's so much foot traffic.
Okay.
The other thing was that once the Wilson Gate was built on base, there's an exit that is right in front of the building that is constantly flowing, and
It's going to pour right in
Yeah,
the
Yeah, it does
parking lot?
actually. It pours right past it.
yeah, it pours right in front of the building. And I was working about 3 p.m. trying to paint the building, and it was a constant flow of traffic. And we noticed that at 6 to 9 a.m., the drop-off line pulls all the way back in front of our business because people have to wait to drop their kids off in their car. And I figured what better way to sling them some caffeine while they're waiting to
Awesome. Awesome.
give some drop off their kids.
Good answer to your question.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, what do you think your overhead will be like? Just say for labor, you got your products. Have you thought about how much it's going to cost you for your labor and things like that?
Yes. So with us being a family owned and operated, my wife has about 18 years of experience in sales, working with Tastefully Simple. And with James Daniel being a retiree, we would be able to get, for the first year, about 4 of us in there with no paychecks. And we've been doing a cost analysis for electricity, water, and gas for the area, and talking to Roto-Rooters in the business around us. They're paying about $700 a month in utility. And with insurance, we've already gotten quotes for about $400 a month for a business insurance to cover fire and everything else. So with that being said, we're looking at utilities and overheads being about $1,200 a month. And with food expenses and products, because of the nature of Golden Malt, you only have to order what you need, and if we're selling more, they'd be able to deliver more. If we're not selling a lot, we can hold off on the product. So we're estimating about $2,300 to $2,400 of monthly expenses for overhead for food, product, and electricity, water, and gas.
Okay.
What are your hours? What will your hours be?
Our hours will be between 5 a.m. to 3 p.m. That will limit the amount of hours we need to stay open and limit the amount of employees we'd have to have. Doing our analysis with Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, and a lot of these coffee shops, their main peaks is before people go to work and then right after work. They see a major decline in sales after 2 p.m., and that's where we would like to kind of end our day and also allow people to use our event space after that. That would not disrupt our business.
That's very good research there.
Awesome.
So you're planning to serve breakfast all day?
Yes,
5
ma'am.
to 3 p.m. So I can come in and get waffles, eggs, and bacon at 1 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's great.
All right, you good?
All right.
You good? Thank you.
All right.
Thank you
Rick,
so much.
Good job. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You guys have a wonderful day.